What's up? What's up? I'm doing all right. How about you? Yeah, of course. How is this? Is that better? Perfect. Yeah, so I originally got into crypto, let me see, 2017 or 2018. I was mining Ethereum, and that's kind of how I got into the whole mining thing. And I'd seen videos about Bit Tensor miners in China or Iceland where they had these huge warehouses of ASICs, and I was like, that's totally inaccessible to me. But then I learned about Ethereum, and you can just go to your local computer store and buy these graphics cards and assemble them together, and then start mining like that and making money. And that's how I got started in crypto. Um, yeah,
Okay, let me see. I think my voice should be coming now, hopefully. Yeah. So, okay, so that's how you got started into. So ASIC miners, those are still the machine miners, right?
yeah, those are the ones that are like I don't know if you've seen the videos on YouTube where like in China or like I said in Iceland they have these huge warehouses of like basically these machines that are just built only to mine Bitcoin. And that's what ASIC means. ASIC means application specific integrated circuit, and that's just like a fancy way to say a computer that can only mine Bitcoin. And they're much more expensive. They're like $3,000 or $4,000 per machine. And to really make it an efficient operation, you probably need thousands of them. And a lot of people have like liquid cooling solutions for them. And there are even some that like take over old power plants and they just buy the power plant and then they use the power plant to mine Bitcoin with them.
Wow, wow.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna quickly repeat our intro. I believe I was not audible. So everyone, this is Sime, your crypto CPA from the Lone Star State here at Akif CPA and Chainblock Financial. Today we have the YODA of Tao. YODA of Tao is a ecosystem in blockchain, which is a cutting edge ecosystem. And I had mentioned in my intro that I have worked with hundreds of clients that are miners, but this is such a unique mining system that's feeding into the AI and we've brought in the Yoda. Yoda is the master, right? We watched Star Wars. We know that there's magical powers, but we're gonna pick the brain of the Yoda of Tao today in explaining what this ecosystem is and how you can get started in mining in this ecosystem. So what you've just heard is the ASIC part that the Yoda is explaining, and now we'll get into more questions. So after you did the Yoda, after you did the ASIC miners, and then you went to Ethereum, then what happened? What brought you over to this, and what are other projects are you working on? Do you have a technical background? Tell us a little bit about yourself too.
Yeah, so I actually probably when I started Ethereum mining, I was not really that technical. I used to make little mods for video games, but nothing crazy. It was like, it'd be make like a cool little mod that was like 50 lines of code for like GTA or something. But I wouldn't really call that technical. It was something that you could learn in a week or two on YouTube. And then I got into Ethereum mining, and it made me want to learn more about coding and stuff like that. So that was around 2017, 2018. And I really started to learn more on coding, and I started making my own video games and things like that. Nothing impressive really, but just, making for the art of learning. Um, and then, probably around 2022 to 2023, maybe, I got introduced to Bit Tensor, and that's when I really started learning. I really started, um, you know, learning more about AI and coding and all that stuff. And yeah,
Okay, okay. So that's where when you say coding,
Mhm.
um, what do you mean by coding? Is this Python? Is this how
Yeah,
did you first learn about the BitTensor? And because I've seen some videos on the Templar of Tau, and
Mhm.
and how where does one start? Because I understand that the barriers to entry, because this is so technical, and what is it doing with AI? What does it have to do with AI?
So when I talk about coding, I'm talking about it's kind of a broad term, but it's really just making the computer do what you want it to do. Like it could be a video game mod, it could be you know a tax accounting software, it could be anything. But for me, what my coding looks like, I code pretty much only in Python nowadays. Um, and and I guess what was your next question?
The next question was like for a newbie, how do they get started? Like what do they do if they want to take a stab at this?
Yeah.
And what does it relate to? How does it relate to AI? Because I'm hearing
Mhm.
this AI a lot, and we'll get into the into subnets as we share our screens with the viewer, and you can then guide us through exactly what all these subnets are. But before we share the screen, what is the utility? Because a lot of times what we have learned from past mining is that you're solving a puzzle, right? You're solving some sort of puzzle. And that was the proof of work that came with the Bitcoin ecosystem and those ASIC miners. And then we have the proof of stake where we're just giving money back into that ecosystem, like Ethereum. You need 32 Ethereum to be a miner slash validator. Um, uh, but then what is this? How, what are we solving anything? Or what are we doing here?
So Bittensor is kind of it's kind of a hybrid between proof of work and proof of stake. Like the actual consensus mechanism, meaning how transactions get approved. Let's say I send $10 to you. That is done in the same way that proof of stake is done. But the way that validators get compensated is that for every subnet, and like you said, we'll get into those later, but subnet's basically just like a company. Um, each company has a problem that they want to solve, and they task validators with evaluating how well a miner has solved that problem. Um,
Okay.
and it's a little, it sounds, it's kind of complex, but basically, um, like I said, it's like a hybrid of proof of stake and proof of work. And proof of work comes from validators deciding how well a miner did or solved the problem. That's the proof that they did the work, and also not that they just did the work, but how well they did the work.
Wow. Wow.
Mhm.
So how well they did the work? Interesting. Interesting.
Yes.
Okay. So and yeah, I'm again, I'm taking notes as you're telling me all this. Why don't we share our screens? Why don't we start and maybe you can guide us and show us what this is all about. Give me 1 second. I'll
Okay.
okay, and let me pin myself. There we have it. So yes, if you can. So tell us, yeah, where does one go to learn more? Yeah, so go ahead.
Yeah. So basically, the um, home page of Bit Tensor is this website called Taostats, right? And I'll show you here. And this is it's like the one stop shop for Bit Tensor, right? It's a block explorer, and you'll see that the subnets here. It's like a coin market cap of Bit Tensor. You have the validators here. It's if you want to learn anything about Bit Tensor, this is the best place to go, basically. Um, and one of the most fundamental things about Bit Tensor that's kind of new, it actually just kind of launched last February, is DTAO. And that's what I talk about with subnets being their own companies. Each of these is a subnet, okay? And they all have a different problem they want to solve. And like I was saying, the validators validate that the miners solved a problem and how well they solve it. So you'll see here Chutes. This is the most popular subnet. It has a price of zero point 0.1 tau. So You do point 0.1 times 345. So each token is worth $34 or they're just thereabout. Um, and yeah, that's kind of how I would look at this as a complete beginner. If you want to do like there's the bare minimal superficial research into TAO, this is the best way to do it.
Okay. And I noticed that earlier I was able to also see. So I know that so subnets are basically companies, and these companies are solving a problem of one type or another. And then by solving this problem, or whoever is part of the solving mechanism, and the companies have basically laid out the foundation of the subnet, and whoever is coming in and solving these problems, they're getting rewards, and those are then times by the tau value here, and that's giving us the reward. So can you tell us? So now I know that not all the subnets are. So give us an example. Okay, like for example, um, I know LLMs. They're heavy, intensive. So how is this feeding in? And which I've seen that there was a dashboard earlier where you could see the unknown subnets that were gonna
Yeah,
pop up in the future, basically, right?
yeah. And I'll give you an example here, just of
Yeah.
a working subnet, like a well-established one. Let's
Okay.
see. So this is Chutes, and you're kind of asking about like what problem do
Yes.
like, what problem does a subnet solve? So Chutes is actually really cool. Chutes is kind of like AWS, but decentralized and particularly for AI. So AWS for the non technical people. Basically, whenever you do anything like in the cloud, it's all run on AWS, which is Amazon Web Services. Basically, Amazon, they own, who knows how many $1 trillion worth of servers, and every company in the world basically uses that. It's the gold standard of cloud servers. And what Shoots is kind of just a decentralized version of that. In the same way that Bitcoin is decentralized, money, Shoots is decentralized AWS. And Shoots is also really cool because it's kind of targeted at non-technical people. You can go here to Shoots chat, and you need to create an account, but it allows you to instantly chat with any model in the world, like any open source model in the world, just with how you go on ChatGPT and it's like GPT-5, GPT-4, and all this, and that's just their closed source models. But Shoots, they have something like 250 models at your hands
Wow.
to chat with, and this is really important because some models suck at some things, and they're great at others, and some models are vice versa. So and we can actually dive into the revenue here, I believe, of Shoots, and that's what makes this so cool is that um, let's see here. I don't know if they publish these. Yeah, here we go. So here's Shoots revenue. So they're making around this is daily, so around $11,000 a day. Fluctuates a little bit. I think they're making around 30 days at $334,000 in revenue. So and if you look at the chart, it looks like it's a positive trend, right? Um,
And
and
this three hundred
what's
thirty-four
that?
thousand is going to all the miners in
No,
Shoots.
no. This is actually not even from the blockchain. This is from fiat. Like this is not mining revenue. This is literally revenue from the usage of the platform. The
Wow.
mining, yeah. So that's what I'm saying. This is like a real company. This is their actual revenue from people paying. Now they may pay in crypto or they may pay in fiat, but this is like actual real people giving them money to use their platform. And the revenue of or the mining emission, rather, the money that miners get uh, goes to build this to make this possible. So if we go here to nodes, this basically just shows how many GPUs they have. So they have 5,000 GPUs, and that's what the blockchain is funding. So they have 3,400 NVIDIA H200s, and
Wow.
I think an H200 is around, let's see, uh, H200 cost per GPU. Um, I don't know. Let's see what to buy, but I mean, it's something like, yeah, we'll call it $40,000 times, um, yeah, 3,400. It's quite a lot. 40,000, 3,400. Yeah, so $13.6 million in GPUs, just based
Wow.
off, yeah, and that's just one part, one type of GPU. They have a bunch of others as well.
So yeah, so as a lay person, tell me a little bit more. So what's happening is you're coming in or other people are coming in. They're using so this is a company called Chutes. They
Yep.
are now under their belly uh, in the ecosystem of nodes and miners. There's about 3,500 H200 miners, 13.6 million active H200 CPUs are 13 point worth, that are
Yeah.
being used. And what are they being used for? What are they feeding into or what's happening?
Yeah. So, like I said, you can basically, here's a better example. So all these GPUs are running these models, right? And these are all open source models, right?
Wow.
And you can, with the Shoots chat thing, which I just was talking about earlier, you can basically go to a site that looks exactly like ChatGPT, and all you do is go here and you change. I don't want to use Gemma because it's not very good at this task. The DeepSeek R1 is really good at this task, so I change it, and then I want to go to another task. Oh, DeepSeek is not good at this task, but GLM is. And then that's kind of what the use case is. So these are, OpenAI only runs 5 models, or I don't know how many models they have nowadays, but it's not very much. It's like 3 or 4 or 5. But Shoots is running. Let me just look here. This is like 200 or 250 models, and it's just easily um, easily accessible to the average layperson, because if you don't know how to code and to get these models up and running, you first have to rent a GPU server. Then you'd have to set up the GPU servers. You'd have to get all the correct drivers. Then you'd have to download the model. Then you'd have to run the model. I mean, this is, easily, it's probably impossible if you're not technical, but even if you are technical, this could be a 3 hour task. But with Shoots, it's all easy, one click. You go here, you type in your chat, you would say, what is the best stock to buy? Oh, or and then I have
Yeah, you
to
have to
log in
log
to
in.
run it.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is it's it's amazing.
So now let me ask you this. So all these open source models, whether it's Grok or DeepSeek, I mean these are just it's fascinating. This is moving so fast. But all these open source models, you can come here and as an end user that is not let's say related to mining, they can come here and use these models if and then pay a fee, right, to run the
Yeah,
model, and then
yeah, but
Shoots would
go
collect
ahead.
that revenue, but then deep inside. Uh, how is how are the miners getting paid?
So the miners get paid in the same way that Bitcoin miners get paid. The blockchain makes right now 7,200 TAO a day, or it actually, since now it's TTAO, it's alpha a day. So I'll go back here. They make 7,200 of these tokens a day, this amount. So if we go here to emission, let's see here. I don't know. I can scroll sideways here, but this emission column. Um,
Yeah, just click on and then and go and click on your right on the keyboard. I think yeah, it should.
there we go. Yeah. This emission column is how much it is basically. There's 20 epochs in a day, so we can do some quick napkin math here. Um, 28 times 20 times point 0.01. He's getting 56 tau a day. This miner here.
Wow. And
Um,
and Tao is currently trading at 345.
Yeah, so 56 times 345. So he's getting $19,000 a day. But that's because he has, so many GPUs. And I can go here, um, I can actually go on the Chutes website and see what GPUs he has, and kind of you can get an estimate. So this is also like, if I were to mine Chutes, this is how I would look at, you know, am I going to make money or not? So we'll go here.
Wow.
We're going to get his hotkey, and we're going to look. Oh, I think this is it. Yeah, so this guy, you can go down here, and we should be able to see how many GPUs he has. Mm, Here we go. Yeah, this guy here has 1,000 of the H200s.
Wow.
So
Um,
that's around $4 million in GPUs, I think, four and a half.
and he's renting them, or he or she's renting them.
It's possible that he owns them.
Oh,
It's very possible that he owns them because with that amount of GPUs, you probably have enough stake in the game to own them.
and then this person is making 20,000 a day, pretty much.
Yes. Yeah, but so you have to think about all the fixed cost of these as
Fixed
well, though.
cost. Yes.
So
And
either if
and
they're renting them, or they have them bought, it depends. But yeah.
so H200. So now in this example, if you can just tell us a little bit rough estimate cost, in your opinion. Obviously, we don't know all the fixed cost, but what are they? What's their cost a day if they're getting 20,000 in revenue?
Well, I'll tell you the market price of an H200. Now, these guys might have some backdoor deals,
It could be
or
cheaper.
it could, they might have some credits or something. But if you were just the average person with no connections, this is what you could rent them out for. It's actually right here, 245 an hour. So um, let's actually do the math here.
Yeah.
1,032 divided by 245, or actually, no, times 245. Sorry, times 245 times 24. So if this is actually why blockchain and decentralization is so good. Shoots is paying this guy $20,000 a day for what is basically $60,000 worth of GPUs.
Wow.
So this is why it's advantageous to have this sort of decentralized nature kind of thing, because you're getting an insane deal. Like the Shoots platform is as a company, they have the cheapest GPUs in the world probably.
Wow. So they're giving this person 20,000 a day, but if you were to go and run this model yourself and rent these the 1,032 H200s at
Yes,
245 an hour, you're looking at a fixed cost, a daily fixed cost of 60,000.
60,000. Yeah,
So but then they must have a deal.
or they own
They're
them.
they
So
must they
yeah,
must own them. Okay, okay.
yeah, and also the thing is that they can, if they have idle GPUs or vacant GPUs that they're not renting, they can put them on here, and instead of earning $0, they earn some amount of dollars. You see?
So in this particular example, this miner here,
Mhm.
I've seen multiple places where the Tao system talks about having an edge. So this just from the cost perspective, they have an edge, right? And not
Yeah.
just not even the programming. So they must have either it's a big company themselves that's doing this, or or they must have credits and they're able to do this. But economics wise, if someone gets in and they're trying to learn and they want to also have an edge, how do they make money if and I believe it's in this ecosystem, you only have a limited number of miners per subnet, and if one
Hmm.
gets kicked out, the other one comes in, right?
Yeah.
So give us an example. Walk us through how and like which subnets have you enjoyed mining the most, and how can you overtake somebody? Give us a practical example. I don't give us all the secrets, but give us an example of a simple example of a hypothetical one of how this can be done.
So I'll show you here. Like you were saying, there's only certain miners per. There's only a certain like a limited amount of miners per subnet. Um, and you can see here. This is the graph of all the miners. And it's kind of like a winner takes all thing because it's an economy of scale thing.
Mhm.
It's much easier per. You make a lot more per dollar if you have a lot of GPUs, and if you just have a few and you're trying to, manage just a few. So I mine collaboratively with some folks for a good amount of time, 6 or 7 months. Um, and that's a great way to get started. If you don't know everything about the network, if you can do collaborative work with other, get 2 or 3 of your friends that are maybe they're not even programmers yet, but they have the desire to learn how to program. Um,
Python.
yeah, Python's the main thing. Anything in AI is basically Python nowadays. There's not much any other language that has use in AI. But so get a few of your friends and basically, yeah, I'll tell you how I were to pick a subnet to mine if I
Sure.
was just a brand new newbie. So I'd go to the subnets tab here.
Mm.
I would let's see here. Oh, it's a
Yeah, I
little
think
bit
it's
laggy. Sorry.
yeah, I think it's also a window within a window.
Oh yeah, that's definitely it.
Yeah.
Here we'll go here. But yeah, so I would go to the subnets tab here, and you'd see all the subnets.
So yeah, you see, yeah. No, so basically, if you look here, you were on the right
Uh,
hand tab. I think it's a scroll within a scroll right there. You see,
okay.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So you can scroll down.
Okay. Yeah, so I mean, you can see all these subnets, and so a lot of them, the names is their names are not. They don't really tell you what they do. But for example, proprietary trading network. Basically, what they do. Let's say you're really into finance. What they do is they ask you for your signals on a forex or crypto or whatever equity maybe, um, and then you submit your signals, and then if the signals are right, uh, they reward you with
Wow,
the emission I was talking about. Yeah. And
wow.
this is all automated. So it's not like they send you a text and it's like, what's your opinion on Bitcoin? It's
Mhm.
like all automated. So you have a model that's running, and then the model gets queried like that, and then it spits out an answer. So they have a pre-trained model here, but to win, obviously, you can't use what they gave you at the start. You have to make your own and make it better. So that's what the top miners of here are doing, and that's just one example of a subnet. Um, Celium is another subnet, and what they do, uh, it's kind of like Chutes, where they pay people for the access to their GPUs, but instead of like actually using the GPUs and you running models on them, Celium just rinse them out. So that the site I pulled up earlier to get the prices for the H200, it said uh, what is it, 245 an hour.
Yep.
If we go here to Liam, you'll see that the price is much less, much less. So uh, 15.2 an hour divided by 8 is less than $2 an hour. Because these are 1.9 an hour. So that's a 50 cent an hour discount per GPU. Uh, so that's pretty cool. Uh,
So basically, this particular company is a sub-renter, right? So you can then rent. So you can rent one subnet's assets and mine on another subnet.
exactly. And maybe, and
Oh,
I don't know if this is even technically possible, but like on the Chutes example, perhaps that big Chutes miner was maybe renting these GPUs and putting them over there. Now, I don't think that's technically possible on that exact subnet, but on other subnets, yeah, you can use these GPUs and then mine on
um,
other subnet, and then these are much cheaper than what you can find on the market.
okay, 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 okay.
Mhm.
And then okay, and as you were going through the other subnets, if we can explain more. And I remember seeing unknowns, right? And to me,
Yeah,
unknowns were the ones because this is such up and coming technology that some things will get outdated, and once they get outdated, the unknowns will kick in, right? New subnets will kick in.
yeah. So basically, unknowns are just subnets that have been bought. It's kind of like
Like
it's
top
kind of like
secret
a
there.
stack. Yeah. So can you see this?
Yes, yes, yes.
So it's kind of like a SPAC or a pre-IPO company in finance. Like it's a company that exists basically only, but only with the ticker. There's no company behind it. So all these companies are just vacant companies or inactive companies, right? And these are just smaller companies. These are like kind of like penny stocks, I guess you could say in the finance world. But yeah, so there's a lot of speculation on these companies because number one, they're very illiquid. You can see that these are going for really high prices, 19 TAO per token, 21 per TAO per token. But there's also only like, you know, 10 tokens in issuance. So
Yeah.
that's why they're actually less than, if you look at here, you can see that there's actually less in the price of. But anyways, these unknown tokens are basically just subnets that haven't launched yet or launched and they failed and they sold it to somebody else and they haven't done anything with it.
Mm.
So yeah.
So interesting. So now on going back to our original subnets and how you were saying that if someone wanted to start, can you just walk us through a little bit more on what other subnets? Because I'm sure, just like this is so technical, but you're saying that there could be folks or companies that have their own hardware, and companies could be miners too, right?
Yeah, I think perhaps that's the case on shoots. I can't speak for certain, but it definitely could be possible looking at the reward rate. Um, but yeah, so I mean, you can see here that there's 128 subnets that you can mine. So if you just go through here and you click on every one, I bet even if you don't know how to program, I bet one will interest you enough that you're like, wow, I should actually learn about this and I should learn how to program to solve this problem that they're asking me to solve. And that's how I would just get started because particularly if you're new to it, the top 10 are probably not the best place to compete because there are people that have been doing this for, just doing bit tensor mining alone for 3 or 4 years. And then, before that, they have 20 years of professional experience. So if you're just a noob, come out and go to the third, fourth, fifth page of Taostats and then go on these guys' websites. So, like, I'll give you an example here. Bittensor. This is
Betting company.
basically, yeah, it's a betting. It's like how I said the PTN was a company that um, asked for your predictions on stocks, and then they rewarded you if you're right. This is the
Hmm.
same thing, but for sports gambling. So maybe you like sports a lot. Maybe you wanted to learn how to build a model that can predict sports games. If you do that here, you're having fun while doing it. You're learning and also you're getting paid. So I'll show you here.
Wow. Wow.
And also you have to look at the cost of mining the subnet as well as the rewards. So like the cost of mining shoots was very high, right? We said it was $60,000 a day, or that's what the expected cost was. Um, the cost of mining this subnet is basically nothing because you can honestly run it on a Raspberry Pi or a really cheap rented computer online. So these guys are earning. I can't tell you because this is a subnet where there are a lot of miners,
Hmm.
and they're all earning just a little bit here and there. But you could make probably $1,000 a day mining on this subnet if you had a good model.
So now here, a small question. So, a new question. So
Yes.
if I knew how to predict, or if my predictions were spot on when it comes to finance or equities or even sports betting. So even though I'm providing this model, and there must be some other end usage of it that someone else or an ecosystem is also further making money that I'm getting rewards, right?
Well, that's the idea. Now, details kind of early in its stage, but that's the idea, and
What is
is
DTAO?
basic.
If you can
So
explain.
detail is basically there used to be there still used to be subnets, but subnets did never had prices. So you see the emission here.
Mm-hmm.
That was basically you got a share of 7,200 TAO a day, and now with DTAO, you get a share of 7,200 of this token today. That's basically all it is. But what made DTAO different is basically that you can trade the tokens and also so that you can speculate on subnets themselves like stocks. So let's say
Mm.
I really like Templar and I think it should be way higher than this for this is uh I think $10 per token or something like that. I think it should be way higher than $10 per token. I can invest in it, and I'll give you an example here. This is a if you invested in this subnet 2 months ago. Uh, let's see, it's not been so hot after the past week, but how do I do it here? 5 days, 1 days, 3 months. Yeah, so I just had it. Yeah, so this is the 3 months rise. So I mean, this is insane. It's insane rise. This is something like the 10x right here. I think if you sold up here. So that's what detail is basically.
So that's basically a token now for each of the specific subnets themselves and how
Mhm.
well they're doing. So then you can have like spec uh, traders that come in. They can buy and sell depending on and provide liquidity basically
Mhm.
to the subnets.
Exactly. And you can also mine a subnet. And if you're bullish on it, you don't even have to sell your tokens. So you can basically speculate in the subnet, not for free, but you don't have to buy tokens to speculate. So if
There
you're
we go,
bullish on a
speculate.
subnet, if you're bullish on a subnet, you can also just mine it and get a lot of the tokens and then hold them. And then when price rises, maybe you make 10 grand before you, or just with mining. But if it rises 10x, you made 100 grand.
Okay. So there's a lot of room uh, for you to make money, not just mining or validating, but basically just getting into spec trading and actually holding on to the particular subnet tokens. So if you
Yeah,
like the subnet and if you think that this particular subnet, for example, give us an example for that I see this Bitcast. I'm sure there's this subnet is probably doing some casting or streaming, right? And
yeah,
and whoever users are coming in with their models to improve the stream, sure, and then they're probably adding this um, new formula to the overall Bitcast that maybe the company, right? And the company is doing well.
yeah,
And
exactly.
oh, okay. And then I'd seen somewhere where there was an area where for these large LLM models there was data refining, data collection, and all
Yeah.
kinds of where is that?
Um, so data collection, here we go, data universe. This is a really old subnet, and it's been doing this for a while, but
Wow,
basically, so you can go on any of these subnets and most of them will have a one sentence or two sentence description right here of what they do. But they've been scraping X, Reddit, you know, Facebook, like basically all the social medias
mm.
um, for data. So if
And then
you
they're
know
giving this data to the large LLMs.
to the miners, yeah, or to miners on other subnets. So like here, I don't know if they use them particularly, but here's Templar, and this is basically just building one big LLM um,
Mhm.
for the whole of Bit Tensor. So I think they have a website, and I can maybe go to that. And
So I have a question, and this, I mean,
yeah,
this could be where my thinking of this was a little different. Is any of these subnets feeding into the main large LLMs, how they're coming up with new models, right? So they also
mhm,
need, so for example, like ChatGPT, for you to have a company like ChatGPT, you need to invest like billions of dollars, have a have a whole ecosystem of data collection, refining, training the models,
yep.
testing, rolling the model out. So this Bit Tensor
This,
ecosystem is basically a decentralized way of for you to also feed into some of these open source models, right? And making them
yes,
better.
exactly. So basically, Claude and ChatGPT and all that, they're all closed source. So they don't really, want any open source
Yeah.
contribution. But BitTensor is making its own version of these, and this is an example of Templar. So what they're doing is this is really nerdy speak, but basically what they're doing is they're just making it incrementally larger and larger models, and they're going to open source them, and they already have. So, for example, here's the 70 billion model. Now,
Mm.
ChatGPT is about 1 trillion parameters or or something like that. So they still have a decent way to go. But if you look at the training, basically this is the loss graph. The lower it gets, it means the smarter the model is getting, right? So it's the fact that this can be done decentralized and over the internet, and not have to pour in $100 billion into investment and data collection and all that. The fact that this can be done just via decentralization and over the internet is really fantastic. And if you look here, this is the like benchmark performance of the model. So it's actually doing quite well. Quite well. This is a pretty high score. I'm not familiar with the closed source models. I think they're hovering around 40 or 42%. But the fact that it's even getting close to that is really awesome.
Wow, wow. So I have a question. So, for example, now CPA firms and CPA societies all over the US, especially the Texas CPA Society, they're embedding AI. So I can assume that they're probably going to take a base source model of some type, and then
Mhm.
it's that further adding data, refining, collection, making it better, and they can probably
Mhm.
utilize some of these Bit Tensor's ecosystem or a similar model like this. I mean, this is
Yeah,
honestly, there's just so much information that wow, it's I'm having
it's
a
really hard to distill into a podcast. But yeah,
yeah, yeah,
I encourage anybody just go here and just click on a subnet and read it. And I was going to show you this. Um, like you were saying that like the CPA firm or whatever, they wanted to get involved in AI.
yeah,
What this allows them to do is that, let's say you have like previous tax returns that you've done and previous strategies you used. Basically, this is a subnet. This is subnet 56. What they allow you to do is just upload CVS or CSVs and
CSVs.
PDFs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and and you can basically fine tune a model without knowing how to do any of that. All you do is bring your data, you upload it here, and it fine tunes it for you. And then you have
Wow,
bits and miners that are outperform because Google and Hugging Face they offer the same thing. Let's see here. But this is outperforming Google and Hugging Face, and this is just a little crypto company, which is actually crazy. So this is right here. The the best performing auto LLM. Basically, this auto LLM means basically uh, training like automated fine tuning and training. And if you look here, Hugging Face, Google, AWS, they all like suck. Like it's beating them in performance and cost ratio, and also the ease of use. Because I've used AWS, and I'm pretty technical, and it's really quite hard to use. Gradients, all you do is you just drag your PDS and CSVs over, and you're good.
wow, wow.
Yeah,
I mean, this is the sky's the limit here. I mean,
basically, yeah.
in terms of how you want to use it, how you want to with sub. I mean, this is going so fast. Wow. Any
Mhm.
particular subnets that you have your eye on
Well,
for the future,
gr-
personally?
gradients, I love. Chutes, I
Mhm.
love. Celium's really good. Templar is really good, and it's kind of cool because uh, Rayon Lab. So there's kind of like conglomerates in like Bit Tensor. So these shoots and gradients, as well as a few others, are owned by this like conglomerate, like called Rayon Labs. And I like anything that they make. I'll go here. Rayon Labs. Yeah. So this is kind of like how Google has 17 million different products, and they all are pretty good. This is the same thing for this company. So anything this company puts out, in my opinion, is an automatic buy. And I'm not shilling my own bags. Well, I guess I am kind of shilling my own bags, but
Mm.
it's a real they've earned this shill. They're making $300,000 in revenue. They're making a decent amount as well. It's really awesome what they're doing.
Yeah, I think the revenue is just a small little piece. I think it's all the earning the rewards on a daily basis. That's
Mhm.
where the bulk of the revenue is coming in. But obviously on the outside, you can see that the company is also profitable, right? That
Yeah,
that it's not just so the
it's not
company,
vaporware, and they're not
yeah,
giving it away for free. It's
yeah,
actually
So
if somebody's paying for you for your product, that means your product solves a problem for them,
wow.
which is
Can you?
the most important thing.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. So basically, there are end users of these companies, and then these companies themselves have outsourced or decentralized all the various
The
components,
the production, yeah,
the
basically
production.
the production of the commodity they want to produce, which is a fancy way of just saying whatever they want to sell to the customer.
Okay.
Um,
And without, giving up your location, are these a lot of USA based, Canada based, or are they all over the world, or how are the company?
a lot of them are DAO structures, and a lot of them they're purely anonymous, which is you know I think it's actually quite cool. It's kind of like you know um, it's kind of like Bit Tensor. It's like you can come here and create a company worth I don't know. I mean, what's the market cap? This is in Tao, so the market cap of Chutes is 277,000 Tao, which is a lot of money. I don't know exactly what it is, but the fact that you can do that and be, in a destructured organization and be in kind of anonymous is really awesome.
Wow. I mean,
Yeah.
227,000 times 344 bucks. That's their market cap.
Yeah. I mean, we'll do it right here. Um, 700, yeah,
70,
783 million, right? I think that's right.
yeah, 78 million, I think. Yeah,
78
78
million.
million.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
I mean, you can do that. That's amazing. You can do that by just coding on your computer and joining the Discord and getting a subnet.
so okay, so and for someone to get started and get these tokens, they need to obviously follow the procedures, get a Tau wallet, and all of
Mhm.
that is available online. And then
Yep.
join the Discord, right? Join the Discord
Yep.
and then say that they want to be a new miner, and then they'll get some sample Tau or a little bit of Tau for them to play with.
Yep. And you basically you go in the Discord and you can ask, say, hey, I want to mine this subnet. And basically all these subnets have a test net where don't have to pay with any money to actually register and mine, but they'll still have a validator running. And you can go there and make sure your code works. And once your code works and you feel confident enough, and then go to the real subnet. And then basically to register to mine one of these subnets, it costs a little bit of money. So we'll go here to Shoots. And it's basically just like the right to mine. So Shoots cost
Like a registration
let's
fee, basically.
yeah, the registration fee, yeah. Shoots
Okay.
costs but it's basically free for Shoots. But
Wow.
I mean for some subnets it's like, $50, maybe $100. But you're for that for the earning potential, I think it's well worth the cost.
And I believe that Tau is, I'm speaking for the USA base, it's not available on any of the centralized exchanges. So you have to use a VPN and go to a decentralized exchange like Mexi
It
and
might be
then
on
use,
Coinbase now, I
it might
believe.
be on Coinbase. Okay.
I think so. I can or I think so.
Coinbase is all over the news these days. Yeah. Oh, it is. It
Yeah,
is.
it is. Yeah,
Wow.
there you go.
Wow. Wow, so now it is available to all the US residents too for them to go and dive in right away. And
Yeah,
we're getting to the last end of our podcast. We only have 10 more minutes, but one question I want to ask you is the ledger. Obviously with all the blockchains and everything that we've seen so far, the only way it works is if it has a distributed ledger which is transparent, so then no one's cheating each other out, right? What about for
correct.
Tau?
How is the same way. It's actually based off of the Polkadot blockchain, if you're familiar with that.
Yes, yes,
Um,
yes.
so this is basically like a fork of Polkadot, and that's what runs their like actual blockchain operations. Like I'm sending you money, and how do I make sure that you got the money, and how do you know I ever have the money? That's basically all run off Ledger. So I'll go here, and this is kind of like the block explorer. So you can go
Got it.
here. These
Got
are
it.
all transactions. Um, and this is, you can go back to the first transaction ever here. Um, and there's going to be easier ways to query that. So I'll do an example. We'll go to, let's say that this was your wallet. You can go here to the transactions. Oh, actually, this is, yeah, here we go. The transfers rather. And this guy's sending his money to Binance. And for your accounting purposes, I know you're a CPA, you can look here, and that's what makes it a ledger, is that they're always there.
Got
It's
it.
not like your bank statement where maybe they delete their files after 2 years or something. This is there forever.
Forever, yeah. No, this is exactly what CPAs need. I mean, for us to do accounting and taxes on this. I remember some time ago, obviously, it is not as easy to read at times, or to extract data because some of the third-party crypto softwares they can't extract. So I remember giving out a query on I believe it was you, and you had helped write a small little code for a client of mine
Yeah,
to pull the transactions. So thank you for that. That was really nice.
of
And
course. Yeah.
last question for our podcast. Any failures that you have experienced and what to watch out for when mining and I remember there was also the sub validating, right? Where if you were a validator, you could or if you were a miner, you could do a sub validating, right? Or so tell us a little bit about failures and what is a sub validation or sub mining, or I
Yeah.
forget the.
Yeah. So failures, um, just test your code a lot before you go in, because if you're running with a lot of machines and your code fails and it's down, and then you wake up and then you just burn $1,000 because your code sucked or something like that. So always test your code, um, for sure.
And
And
how
then
do you test
also
your
don't,
code?
that on the test net, like I was saying, is basically you go to the Discord and then you ask the moderators, can I have some test tokens? And they'll send you some. And then you can go on the test net, and there's good guides out there on how to do this. It's really pretty easy. And then you run your code, and then you make sure it's good for 48 hours or whatever. And
Excellent advice. Excellent
yeah,
advice. So this way we're not burning our money.
yeah, and that way you can maybe run it with one GPU instead of 24. And if it sucks, maybe you only lost $10 instead of 1,000. So that's basically that's the number one thing is uh, test, test, test. Because if not, you can waste a lot of money. And I think you're talking about with the sub validators is so it's called child hotkey. It's basically these validators. This is for anybody wanting to start a validator, get into that. It is much harder than mining. I would have to say, because it requires you to get a lot of stake. I think you probably need around, I don't know, 50K Tau stake to you, and it doesn't have to be your own Tau. You can get other people to stake it to you, but it's hard to get people to delegate, especially starting off. But these
Can
are
you can you
what's that?
describe the difference between the miner and a validator? What is exactly the
Yeah.
difference?
So a validator basically just validates the outputs of miners. They don't create anything. They just run code that makes sure what the miners are sending back is correct, and a lot of subnets they also make it's correct, and how correct is it or how good is it. So that's what these guys get rewarded for, and they get rewarded proportional to their stake, and then they take a little bit of their rewards from their stake because they're also paying these guys that they have all the time here. So this validator actually takes 0%. So they're taking 0% of a cut, right? So they earn $0 for running all the machines. Why they do this? Maybe it's a promotion, a short-term thing, or something like that. But that's what they choose to do. But their nominators or their stakers here, they earn 377 tau a day divided by this 266,000. So if you give them 1,000 tau, you earn 1/266 of this portion. If that makes sense.
Okay. And what is your prediction for just for example, someone wants to go to Coinbase today. I'm sure we're gonna have a lot of viewers that are gonna watch this podcast video again and again, and I'll be at, but this is gonna be there because we have a lot of just mom and pop clients too that love to just invest and provide liquidity. What is just your prediction if they were to go to Coinbase and just purchase the Tau token? Where do you
Yeah,
think this
well,
headed?
I think it's gonna be really good. If anybody's familiar with crypto world, and Barry Silbert just went on a podcast the other day and said it's the most he's the thing he's most excited about since he's seen Bitcoin. So
Wow.
that's pretty crazy. I mean, he has over $2 billion in net worth. So this is not a small guy saying that. and this is his company right here, actually. And they have, 142,000 Tau staked to them. So
Wow.
that's pretty crazy. Yeah, right.
Yes.
But I think the halving is coming up. For the mom and pop people, basically. Um, it's it's like there's less there's less tokens being emitted, so there's basically less token to be sold.
Hmm.
And I'll show you what happens when Bitcoin halves, right? Um, and I'll show you the chart of Bitcoin's price and when it halves. And you tell me it's every time it halves, it always looks pretty good. So this is the halving. It's right here.
Hmm.
1 year after, 1 year after up, 1 year after up, 1 year after, 1 year after it goes up. So
Okay. And it looks like it's testing that resistance or yeah, resistance line right there, and hopefully it's gonna, pop out or something,
yeah, I think it will. So I think this is a pretty safe bet. It's not like a bunch of other coins that have no utility. I mean, these are real companies doing real things. It's not like some vaporware
It's not
kind of
like
thing.
the Trump or Melania coin.
No, yes, it's definitely not like that. Definitely not like
There's
that.
so there's a whole utility behind it. There's a whole operation. There's and again, this has been in operation for the last 3 years, and I know
Hmm.
now but still to this day, I just see very few people that break into it, but now they can just buy the token. They don't have
Yeah.
to get all technical. They can buy the token. Well,
Hmm.
wow, 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 wow. I'm gonna have to replay this podcast for myself and go through all the answers because there was a lot of technical stuff that you told us. I
Yeah.
just want to say thank you so, so much.
Of
And
course. Yeah.
we're
No worries.
absolutely honored to have you. And again, everyone from us and from all over the world, because the fact is that you're sharing knowledge with us, and knowledge is the power. Knowledge is money. Knowledge is
Yeah.
everything. And for
I
you to
agree.
have a big heart like this, I just want to say thank you from us, and thank you from all of our clients too.
Of
Um,
course. Yeah. I hope you guys got something from it.
yes, definitely, and we'll be in touch. We might do a in the future. I'll do a solo video just on taxes, but
Mhm.
in the future, if we need to maybe pick one subnet and maybe get into it, and I'll reach out to you. Thank you so
Of
much.
course. Yeah. Awesome. All right.
Take care.
Perfect. All right. Bye bye.